and Snoot. So this is Sine. I'm back for the second part of this fairy card, and I'm gonna construct my kitchen. You can see here I made a nice little drawing of what I wanted, so I knew the measurements of this, how to construct it, and this is where math comes in handy, by the way, for those of you who think that math is useless. It's not. Well, I'm gonna measure out these lines that I have marked on my paper, so that I can score it and cut it to fit. And I'm not gonna do a full how to say, I'm not gonna double up the cardstock on the inside. I'm just gonna make a small tab for gluing on the counter. Otherwise it'll give a lot of bulk for when you close the card. You're gonna see what I mean in a minute when I'm scoring it. It's easier to see. I don't know how much you can actually make out of my pencil lines. So I decided to make my base in white and put on pattern paper for the cupboards and the tabletop. And here you can see there is two big pieces, and these smaller ones on the outside, they're my gluing tabs for the kitchen. Like this. Okay, so I measured the oven when I constructed this to make certain that I could fit it on the card. And then I'm gonna cut first a piece of background paper and glue that on, then put the oven on top, and then make cupboards and a few drawers on the side in the same kind of pattern paper. But first I'm gonna make the oven, which is gonna be backed with acetate to look like glass, and then I'm gonna put a piece of black cardstock behind that one, so that I could have painted it to look like it was glass and there was space inside. But I think this video is long enough as it is. Oh my god! And I didn't see the need to fiddle around with coloring black, which is, as I understand, quite an annoying thing to try. So, piece of black cardstock, and then we're going. Voila, my oven. And I'm making sure it's not going anywhere. It is going to stay on my card. So, and I've made this piece of pattern paper too long on purpose. If there's that millimeter of unwanted space on the side, it's gonna be hell to try and cut it off. So better to make your pattern paper a few millimeters too long and cut it off than having it a few millimeters too short and trying to cut it off your card. So here we go. I glue it on with this tiny glue that I love, and it's once again giving me trouble. I maybe need to buy a new one. So here goes the oven, so I can measure out the rest of the counter. There should be a nice equal spacing between every element, as everyone knows who builds kitchens. So and again with the measuring. So I'm gonna make two panels. One is gonna go on whole, almost whole. I need to cut off a tiny bit, and it's easier to put it on the card instead of trying to measure it in advance. Just keep on checking what you're doing. Double check, triple check. Prefer to check it than to try and pull it off afterwards and fix it and stuff. So now my cupboard is right. Now I just need to do the drawers, and I am using a bit of math here to figure out how big they're going to be. I would prefer an equal spacing, like I just talked about, between the drawers and the top of the counter, and so on and so forth. And I'm using my magical piece of tape to hold these tiny pieces. And when I'm gluing them on, I start with the drawers, and I start with the top one and the bottom one. Oh, don't mind these foam squares. Since this card has to be flat, I did figure out, luckily before I did anything stupid, that I should not use foam to make these dimensional. But I should hide the raw edges of the paper though with some distressings. That does make a nice finish. So, starting with the top drawer, like I said. And my glue's giving me crap. Again. Now I'm using the cupboard door to measure out where to put the drawer. And the reason why I put the top one and the bottom one first is because then it makes it easier to space the middle one right, so it doesn't look weird. Everything matches up, and I don't go crazy looking at an uneven spacing. So here we go. Now I should be making the countertop, and I pick this gray color and make all the nice green elements pop out with these dark colors. So draw your eyes to what is important. And this is some thicker cardstock. I think it's actually called scrapbooking cardstock, but it's nice. I like the color with the brown of the counter. And let's get on the top. And I fold it and hold it to the table so that I can put up the cardstock all the way to what is going to be the wall. And it hangs over a tiny bit. I made it a few millimeters too wide, and that's on purpose because I think it looks nice and it doesn't interfere with the folding of the card. So I think now it's time for making the hot plates. And tiny circle dies are hard to come by, I have to say. So I only have this one that fits kind of on my counter. So that's what I'm gonna do. And it won't even fit 4. It will only fit 3. So, but I'm pretty sure everyone who sees my card knows what I tried to achieve, even though it's not perfect. I did make 4 just to see if I could fit them on there, but since the counter is so narrow, the counter has to be actually more narrow than it's high. If you go measure your own kitchen, you'll probably see that's the case there. Don't ask me why. That's just some universal truth I think people have agreed on. It has at least been that way in all the kitchens I've ever had. Here we go. And like I said, it doesn't fit all 4, so I'm just gonna do the 3. Now this card does take a long time, but I think it's worth it. It's fun to do, actually. Very fun. But the question is if I'm ever gonna give it away. I did give away the Christmas one, so I guess when I have a birthday where I think it's appropriate, I should use it. So now I should be ready to put in the kitchen, and I'm gonna measure it out according to the fold. With since this isn't a square, it's a rectangle shape when you fold it up. The fold in the card and the fold in the countertop shouldn't align. They should be off. And then again, that's all about math, and well, I love these things. Been spending a lot of time with crafting and doing math. I've been playing around with houses, and it's just fun. It's fun when you measure and cut and calculate, and then it all comes together in the end. So here's my kitchen, by the way. I'm gonna put in a window, and this what's going to look like a steel plate behind the hot plates, so you don't get grease on your walls. I figured it was a nice detail for the kitchen. It can be a bit bare on the walls if you don't put anything there, and I'm gonna make a little background for the window, which I think has already got acetate on it. And it's gonna go on the other side. I'm just gonna make some easy clouds with this stencil I made, and then I cut some cloud dies out of green cardstock, which are gonna be, well, if you prefer tops of trees or just plain bushes. I am imagining this kitchen is in an apartment, so that's why you see sky and greenery and no people or birds or nothing. So well, this is actually the last of the construction video, this window. So the next part will be assembling everything, putting in all the things and making singular pop-ups for them. This was just the base of the kitchen, and I'll see you in a bit in the other video. As soon as I get this window done, that is. I am really slow with that window. Really, really slow. It's okay if you jump to the next video and I'll understand. But I am telling you, there is no more. It's just gluing in this, and then the video will end. See you.